Welcome to Spirits and Screams.
Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to Spirits and Screams. I'm Karen, and tonight we're going to talk about the cult classic werewolf film, The Howling from 1981. But first, I want to talk about some of my artwork, some of the updates that I have. I posted some things on Instagram recently. For example, I'm working on the comic book still, Spirits and Screams. If you guys didn't know, it's about three women that are ghost hunters, Nyx, Vesper, and Rose, and they go out on adventures. And I'm working on writing and illustrating that, but in the meantime, I'm working on some merch, and I started posting a few things. I'm slowly getting stuff made to put on my website, but you know, a little while ago I started rebranding the website from Ocean Chicks Films to Spirits and Screams, so I'm doing a lot of changing over stuff and kind of revamping it, so it's taking a bit of time, but I started and I'm really excited. So first off, I want to show you, in case you're not following me on Instagram, I got my new business cards. They're so cool. They have my logo and they're shiny and they're in a square format, which is really kind of fun, printed on the back too, with my little crow and rose. I think they're so fun. I really like them, and that's the first thing that I got made. Secondly, I got done what I'm really excited about. So some of the characters in my comic book are like little ghosty named Spirit Box. There's a cat called Little Weirdo that goes on adventures with the girls in their van, you know, looking for ghosts or helping people get rid of ghosts in their house, that kind of thing. And also there's a demon called Demonia. And there is also a possessed entity or girl called Exorchick, you know? I thought it would be really fun. I've got lots of other characters too, but I can only start out with a few and I'll unveil them as I go. But I got bookmarks made. I'm so excited about these. They're also glossy. They're really good quality too. They're durable. They're a nice size. And so those are going to be on my website as well too. I just thought they were really fun. I put some funny sayings with them, and got my logo on the bottom too. So I actually painted all of these designs and then uploaded them into a program on my computer and did some digital editing with them to kind of vamp them up a little bit, and I think they turned out really great. I'm really excited about it. Kind of learning all this new technology. It's really different for me because I'm old school. I learned my degree. We learned how to paint and draw and do printmaking and that kind of stuff. So this is a bit different doing the digital stuff, but I'm learning a lot, and it's actually kind of neat to be doing that. That being said, I'm always going to stick with the old school and kind of mix the new stuff together. So I think with my comic book, I'm going to hand draw and paint the images and then maybe, you know, jazz them up a little bit online. That being said, online I'm still doing everything by hand as well. I'm not putting them into a program and having them, you know, tweaked or whatever. I'm painting and drawing online as well on the tablet. But it's a lot to learn, and I wish I had sort of stuck with this stuff from way back. I had a store a long time ago selling art, and I kind of burnt myself out doing all this stuff quite a few years ago, and then I took quite a big break off. And I kind of wish I hadn't. I'd stuck with it because things have evolved and changed. And I never dreamed in a million years that people would still be doing this kind of stuff. You know, that people on Etsy and that are making art, doing stickers, designing bookmarks and tote bags and enamel pins and keychains and all that kind of stuff, and actually doing it and selling it. I think that's really cool. So I'm super excited to get back into it. Quickly trying to, you know, train myself how to use all the programs and the apps and things. But I'm kind of getting there, so I'm pretty excited. It's going to be a slow process. It's not as quick as doing YouTube videos, but I will keep you guys updated randomly with videos on here. As well as, if you want, follow me on Instagram too, at Spirits and Screams. It's a lot to figure out though too, because even shipping everything's automated. I mean, people are doing everything themselves now. Back in the day, I remember making things and going to my printer and having this relationship with the printer that they would help work with color tones and making everything work the way that you wanted it to. And I would often go in and want stuff that was just insane and they couldn't do. And now people are doing that kind of stuff right in their own homes. Like, you can buy low budget machines that are, you know, printing stickers that are holographic or laminated and cutting them yourself into a shape in your own home. You know, like, things have advanced so much, it's just crazy. But I'm slowly learning all of that stuff and trying to catch up. And yeah, I'm really excited for the stuff that's going to come in the future. Even the comic book. I know I had said before that I was probably going to do the comic book as a digital download, which I might still do, but I'm thinking now doing a hard copy of it because I think people are really into that kind of stuff again. You know, books are really a big thing, so I think that's really fun. And I got lots of other products and characters and all kinds of stuff coming as well, but just stay tuned with that, you know, if you're interested. All right, you guys, I rewatched The Howling recently, and I loved that movie back in the day, and man, it held up. It's so awesome. I watched it again, and I really want to talk about it. But just so you guys know, I think this review will have a bit of spoilers in it because it's kind of hard to talk about it without. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have seen this movie. If you haven't, click off now and we'll catch you later. Come back after you've watched the movie and you can watch this review. Because I want to touch on a few things and then get you guys going in the comment section and we can chat about stuff, because I'm sure there's tons of stuff about this movie that I don't know that you guys know and I want to learn about it. Also, one more thing really quick I totally forgot about. So I started making these tote bags with these designs that are kind of like, they're almost like little tattoos, doodles, connected to my whole Spirits and Screams comic book thing and the theme of my channel and that kind of thing. It's got the logo, the eyes, the crow. I'm going to add a few more images to this to fill it up, but those are going to be on the website too, and I'm really excited about that. Just kind of a lightweight, pretty durable actually, tote bag that's cotton and can roll it up and throw it in your bag to have with you. Or your pocket, you know, whenever you're going shopping. But I thought it'd be really fun. You could buy your comic books and put them in here, or you can buy books and put them in here. I thought that'd be fun. So those will be on the website soon too. Oh yeah, and one more thing. I designed really cute die cut stickers of those 4 characters of Spirit Box, Demonia, Exorchick, and Lil Weirdo. And they turned out so cute. The printers that I'm using are just amazing. So they're just so cute. Those are coming in about a week or so, and then I'll add those to the website as well. They're like 3 inches by 3 inches roughly. And they're vinyl stickers too, so you can remove them. They're removable, and you can restick them and that kind of thing. You can put them on your water bottles, on your lunch bag, stick them on your wall, on your fridge, wherever you like. Books, binders, you know, kind of thing. Really excited about those. But okay, that's it. I'm talking too much about my art. Let's get into this movie. The Howling from 1981. TV journalist Karen White is traumatized after aiding police in finding a serial killer. Her doctor recommends a psychiatric retreat. While undergoing therapy, her colleague uncovers bizarre circumstances about her shock that lead him to believe Karen is in grave danger. Directed by Joe Dante, starring Dee Wallace, Christopher Stone, and Patrick MacNee. So I love wolves. I love wolves as much as I do sharks. As a little kid, I remember I was in grade school and I did a really realistic drawing of a wolf, and the teacher put it on the door. I don't think I ever got that drawing back, actually. I think she kept it. It was really good though. But I just love wolves. They're just so beautiful and majestic and large. And I remember one time too, a friend of mine at her camp, there was a man that lived permanently at the campsite, and he had a wolf, half dog, like a rescue animal, and he was taking care of it. I remember seeing him on the beach and getting to go up to him and pet him, the most gentle animal ever in the whole world. So large and so gorgeous though. I don't know if you guys have ever been able to see a wolf in real life, but they're just amazing creatures. So that being said, because of my love for wolves, I really kind of like werewolf movies a lot. And you know I love American Werewolf in London, and I love all the old stuff too. I love those. I love vampires too, but werewolves are right up there as well. So this movie was directed by Joe Dante of Gremlins and Piranha, two other movies that I loved back in the day too. Yeah, directed by him. It has a star-studded cast, amazing cast. I love Dee Wallace so much. I love Cujo. I've watched that movie 10 million times. I love E.T. I just love her so much as an actress. She's so great. And great cast, lots of great chemistry between them. Also, we have Christopher Stone in this movie. And I don't know if you guys know, but Christopher and Dee were married back in the day, about a year before this movie was filmed. And this filming took like 26 days. And Dee was cast in the role, and she actually asked if a friend of hers could audition for the other part, Christopher, and didn't say that they were married, and he got the part. And then when they called him to talk to him about the role, they were calling her phone number, and they were kind of confused. What the heck is going on there? And then, you know, she had to confess and, you know, say that they were married. But an amazing chemistry between the two. Kind of a cool story. They were a cute couple back in the day. They were also, he was in Cujo as well. And they were married, I think, for about 15 years, from 1980 to 95, which is ironic because I moved out to the West Coast here in 95, so that's special to me. But I didn't know that he passed away at that time. And he was only 55. He had a heart attack, I guess. So that really, really touched me, you know, just because of all the stuff that I've gone through recently with a friend. And man, I thought that was so cool, but so sad. A few people from this film have actually passed away, so it's kind of sad. I just, you know, for me, these kinds of movies were yesterday. They aren't like 30 years old or 40 years old. So it's kind of sad to hear. The opening scene of this movie is pretty cool. It's like a tiny old school TV station where they do filming, and it flashed me back so much to when I was a kid and I did dancing. And I remember one time we got to be on the news to promote something, and we went into our local TV station, and it was like a little stage set with little lights, just like the set in this movie. And that just flashed me back so much. It made me remember how things were back then. And things have changed so much now. I mean, look at us. We're recording stuff at home for YouTube and uploading and whatnot, and back then that's the way that they did stuff. So I thought that was really nostalgic and really cool. And our lead character is named Karen White, and that's Dee Wallace's character. And she's a news reporter for the station called KDHD News. And she's going out sort of undercover because this guy's been calling her, and they connect him to this serial killer. So the cops get her to go out and meet up with him to, you know, little sting operation. And they're supposed to be following her, so it's supposed to be completely safe. Of course, she's incredibly nervous to be doing this, and things go really wrong. And, you know, she meets up with him, and the connection gets cut off, so they can't find her. She's got a bug on her, and they can't find her where she's at. And so he kind of attacks her, and she's in this bad part of downtown, in this sort of like underground shop, you know, and in the back room with this guy. They shoot him without asking any questions, you know, presume he's dead, and they rescue her, but she's so traumatized by the whole thing, she can't remember anything that's happened. And she sort of feels like she's been attacked, but I don't think she actually has. She saw a video or something just before, and he kind of put her in some kind of a trance, and she like blacked out, doesn't remember anything. Needless to say, as she goes back to work, she's with her husband, her character husband, and she can't, you know, she just can't function and get it together. So she starts seeing a therapist, and he prescribes that because she's having these weird dreams, these horror nightmares at night, bits and pieces of things, and she can't put stuff together, and she doesn't really know if she wants to remember what happened, but she knows she kind of has to be able to move forward. And so she ends up going to this kind of retreat kind of thing to get therapy and get away from everything. It's kind of on the ocean. It's really gorgeous and beautiful. The shots that they show of this place totally remind me of out here, the West Coast, but I know it's all filmed in California, but it really, really looks a lot like out here. And she goes there and kind of meets up with all these kind of strange people. There's like a weird tension atmosphere going on there. But she's there with her husband, staying there until she gets better, because she just can't get back to her job, and she has to kind of put her contract at the news station on hold, you know, and they kind of need her back. So she's there almost against her will, but she's agreed to do this to try to get better. And yeah, things, of course, get very, very strange as they go. So Christopher's character is named Bill Neal, and he's husband of Dee Wallace's character, Karen White. Yeah, Karen. Her name's Karen. That whole idea creeps me out even more when I watch this film, because of some of the parts when they say my name. Funny. Yeah. Anyway, great chemistry between the two of them. That's his character name. He works at the news station as well, but he goes on this retreat with her. I don't know if it's called a retreat, but it's kind of like they call it a colony. I guess it's just a place like that you go away, like a bougie kind of therapy place or something like that, where they have treatment and, you know, they can go for counseling and group chats and all that kind of stuff to kind of get through problems. But it ends up being really, really, really weird. And I guess I should have said too, with the whole investigative thing with the police and her casing out this serial killer and finding him and all the stuff that happened, it totally gives me vibes of Kolchak. So I thought this would be the perfect next movie to review for you guys, because I know you guys really loved that review so much, and I really did too. I'm trying to find more stuff that's actually, you know, 70s supernatural horror kind of stuff that I can review in the next little while, because I really enjoy watching those movies again. I mean, they come from my childhood, and I think they're really fun. There's a lot to them. They're kind of all the stuff that kind of made, you know, the bones of what's made movies today, you know, what people are still inspired by to be creative with nowadays with films. So I like watching some of the new stuff sometimes, but you know, I don't love chasing the new films really, really quickly. I will if it's really fitting and it connects to what I'm doing on this channel, but for the most part, I like kind of revisiting and going back into the old stuff. And I always love hearing suggestions from you of stuff that I've never heard of before too. So always drop those things down in the comments below. And I'll try to check things out if I can. Some of this stuff from the 70s is a little harder to find, to stream. You know, some of it you have to try to find on physical media or some obscure website or something like that to be able to watch it. So, you know, it's getting harder and harder to find, but I will try my best to watch if I can. So yeah, tell me about stuff that you've watched for sure. But what do you guys think? Doesn't this, it kind of has the same kind of vibe, this movie, as Kolchak, in my opinion. The reporter, the investigation, the weird creepy story that nobody would believe kind of deal, and you know, werewolves, that kind of thing. I love it. So Eddie, the serial killer that they allegedly killed, who's haunting Karen's dreams, is played by Robert Picardo, and he's from Star Trek Voyager, which I loved back in the day. Yeah, he played the Doctor, if you guys know, if you guys watch that show. Love Star Trek, love the OG, love that one, Next Generation. Watched all of those episodes with my dad. Very fond memories, love it. And I have a story to tell. So a few years ago, when I had my cafe, my vegan cafe, Garrett Wang from Star Trek Voyager came into my restaurant, and I actually served him dessert, and he ate it and loved it, and it was awesome. He was in town for a Comic-Con, and he actually Googled and found that, like, I had a comic book themed kind of looking cafe, and so he saw that and that it was vegan, and he's vegan, and he saw, okay, I gotta go eat there. So he ran from downtown all the way to the restaurant a few blocks away so he could make it in time before we closed. so he could eat at this cafe simply because it was comic book themed and vegan. And so it was so awesome. It was near the end of the closing time, and he was there by himself, and you know, we got to like sit and chat with him, and I drove him nuts. I didn't even hardly let him eat because I just was so excited that he was there. I wanted to ask him so many questions, but super, super, super nice man. Really, really cool. And my dad had passed away at that time, and I remember thinking, man, if my dad could have known that I talked to him, he would have thought that was so really, really cool. So that's fun. I'd love to meet Robert someday too. That would be fun too. Yeah, I think he was perfect in this role. It's so crazy how different he is as Eddie, because he's much younger as Eddie than he is in Star Trek Voyager. Like, what a great actor. Like, he threw himself into that character. So very, very different. And apparently he was pretty like overtaken by the fact that it took 6.5 hours to put the makeup on for this movie. So it was quite grueling of a process that they all had to go through to do that. So the fact that they went through all of that, you know, back in the day, the practical effects, which are incredible in this movie. I would say, and there's a story behind this, but I would say that I think the effects in this movie, the makeup in that, is better than American Werewolf in London. Simply because I feel like they worked harder at it and did more of it because they were trying to prove themselves, like prove something with it because of what happened. Okay, so Rick Baker was signed on to do this movie, and this movie was a low budget film. It was like $1 million. It made 17 million, but whatever, it was low budget film. He was to do this, but he'd already signed on to do an American Werewolf in London. And the people at American Werewolf in London felt, you can't do both of these. It's going to be way too much for you to do that. So he decided he would pass this job over to a friend of his, Rob Bottin. I think that's how you say his name. I should know these things because these are amazing artists and I should know this. But he took over for him. And I think because of that, Rob just very talented, incredibly talented, but worked even harder at like proving himself and making this work. And I think that Rick Baker actually oversaw the things that were happening with this film as well. He just couldn't do both and make it work really well. But yeah, man, you can see the influence there. But I just feel like there's so much more put into this, and I so appreciate how much of it we get to see. In American Werewolf in London, we do get to see the transformation of David, you know, turning into a werewolf, and that's really, really cool. But we don't see too much of it, right? In this one, you get to see much more of the wolf, lots of the transformation. It's gross, you know, there's goriness to it. You're getting to see, you know, the jaw form and these pointed noses, and the teeth on the bottom kind of recede back as it's kind of coming together, and the ears are so big, and just amazing, amazing, amazing stuff. And they combined it with a little bit of stop motion animation too, which, you know, I guess could be a little hokey, but I think it works. So incredible, so inspiring. I really hope that younger generations now still watch these movies for inspiration, because that's the real deal stuff, really incredible. And I hope that, and I know the cost doesn't work out doing it that way, but I still hope that people do stuff that way in the future, and maybe do like what I'm doing, you know, like do some old school, combine it with a bit of digital stuff and kind of make it work, but play with it and make it more artistic, you know, and creative, rather than just doing the cookie cutter mold kind of, you know, ways of cranking things out with apps and stuff like that. But just really, really incredible. The more I watched this time around from before, the much more I appreciated all of it. And the detail, I mean, so incredible. The stuff that's in people's minds to create things like this, you know, from a vision, from reading a book, is amazing, just amazing to me. That being said, the book that this project kind of stemmed from was modified quite a bit, but then I believe in like the fourth film or something thereabouts, the storyline was more connected to the book than this one is. This took liberties, but I think it works, you know. I think it was smart the way that they played this out. I think sometimes when you're reading something and you try to translate it visually, it's not going to come out the same way and work. I don't think you can do things bit for bit. I think things have to kind of change a bit. And I think to have passion behind a project, you kind of, if you're inspired by someone else's work, you kind of have to change it a bit in your own way to make it kind of show your enthusiasm and your excitement about the project. Anyway, that's just how I kind of look at things. But what do you guys think? I think it's really, really good. I think better than American Werewolf in London. I honestly do. That being said, that one's classic practical effects. I mean, both are right up there in my books. But I just think this one I liked a little bit more. And the fact that it was lower budget. I mean, they still had $1 million back in 1981. That was a lot of money, you know. But I guess less than some of these other projects. But yeah, you know, the whole thing was done so well and acted so well. You know, Dee Wallace stood out to Steven Spielberg, and you know, he grabbed her for E.T. down the road. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. So back in the day, this was a really modern take on the whole werewolf genre, right? Very, very different and unique and creepy and gross, and, you know, you can see lots of stuff. There's slobber and all kinds of things. The scenery's gorgeous. I love how they played with the light and the dark. Some of the scary scenes are during the day, which is pretty fun, like when her friend is at the cabin and the werewolf kind of finds her and attacks her, how she's kind of running through the woods and it's daylight kind of creeping through, but the shadows from the trees are kind of making it dark. It's very, very scary. Very, very scary. The only thing that I didn't love about this movie, but they did do a lot back then, was the music is running through the film all the time. You know, there's always that background music going on and the organ, that kind of thing. I liked the sound, you know, of the animals and certain bits of music that were in it, but having that music playing all the time I find to be very exhausting and draining, and it kind of takes me away from the actual film. So I don't really know why they used to do that, but they do sometimes to amp it up. I think it would have been better if they kind of cut some of that out and left it, had some more silences. Would have been a little bit more fun, but anyway, that's just a little nitpick from my point of view. What do you guys think? There are lots of little references to the old werewolf movies too, so that makes it kind of cool. Like obviously they studied those before they made this. You know, there's some of the character names have references, and also at the very, very end, almost after the movie's over, there's like a little old school TV screen with a werewolf movie playing on it, black and white. So it's kind of fun. I thought that was neat. And I'm still so sad about Christopher Stone. I didn't realize that they were married, and I did not realize he passed away at 55. Very sad. But yeah, kind of heartbreaking. But they had a daughter together. Her name's Gabrielle Stone. She's acted and stuff too. And she's grown up now, of course. And Dee's since remarried, like after his passing. But yeah, so sad. Makes me really sad to think about. I'll have to explore some of the movies that he was in as well. And I'd like to check out some of the stuff the daughter's in. I think she wrote a couple books and she's acted in lots of movies as well. So that's kind of neat. But yeah, very sad. I hate hearing stuff like that. But yeah, I didn't follow all that kind of behind the scenes stuff back in the day as much. So I didn't realize that. The werewolf transformation of Eddie is iconic. I mean, everyone's seen that one, I'm sure. But I also loved the scene where the friend reporter, she's going into the woods and finds this cabin, and she's taking photos of all these weird sketches and you know, skulls and things, animal skulls and whatnot. And she's found the home of this serial killer who's disappeared from the morgue. And so they're wondering what's going on. And she has this altercation with a werewolf, you know, and we see him drooling in the snout and stuff. Just gave me that vibe of like the xenomorph kind of thing. And I thought that scene was so creepy, so scary, how she's being attacked and chased and running. It was so well done. Really give me heart palpitations even today. Back in the day, it was so scary too. But of course, the famous scene with Eddie turning into the werewolf is just incredible, with the, you know, the pulsating skin flesh happening as he's changing, and all the different, just being so horrifying. And Dee Wallace just being so terrified, standing, staring, watching this happen, that she can't even move. Just amazing. Another thing I loved is the contact lenses that they used back then were really amazing. I don't think I've seen anything like that ever since. Really, really cool. Not the typical yellow, you know, kind of thing. Really, really neat, really scary. Man, I wish I would have got into special effects and that kind of stuff and makeup for movies. I totally would have loved doing that. Too late for me now. I'm going to stick with what I'm doing, but I think it would have been so much fun to do that. And of course now a lot of stuff's done on the computer anyway, but yeah, I think that'd be really fun. It'd be so cool to chat with some people from that industry from back in the day, just to hear about the stuff that they kind of used to do and what they went through, because like 6 hours of putting that stuff on and then acting after that, I can't even comprehend that. Wow, just wow. And I love the storyline in that everybody was kind of in the know, and then she's fighting so hard to figure stuff out to get to the end, and when she finally does, it's all screwed anyways. You know, there's nothing she can do but just kind of keep going. And I love those kinds of stories so much. I think that it just makes you think and think and think and think after the movie's over. Kind of like Malak to me. Like you just, there's nothing you can do about it, but your brain wants to be able to solve it and fix it, and you can't. I love those kinds of movies. Those are horror movies, in my opinion. True horror. Apparently, Dee Wallace wrote into her contract that there would be no nudity because she just didn't see the need for it, and she was uncomfortable with it. And I guess they did film a part with it, and she just refused it because she said it just looks so stupid. And then someone came in and overlooked it and said, you're right, it does look stupid, so they cut that part. But she had that written in her contract to not do it. And but there's also the character that played, I think her name was Marsha, and she was like the floozy kind of, we didn't know she was a werewolf, but she was part of this community, and she seduces Dee's husband and Karen's husband, and you know, she actually had full nudity in the movie, as did Christopher. And she was told that they would smoke it out with the fire. You wouldn't be able to see. But then, to her shock, they put it all in, you know, and just used everything. And what was sad about it was, from that scene, part of that clip got put into like a Playboy, you know, nudity and horror movies kind of the year type of thing. So poor girl, I can't even comprehend that. But I guess back then, if you didn't do anything about it or didn't sign anything about it, they could do stuff like that. That would not happen today, I'm sure. But man, how horrifying for that. She's gorgeous. She's gorgeous. She looks beautiful in the movie anyway. But yeah, that's horrible. I can't even, you know, I'm like, wow. Can't even comprehend that. That's crazy. I also love the old school fashion in this, and the old school tape recorders. That's really cool. The cameras, like I said, the TV set. And even the California license plates were those blue. Remember when they were blue? I loved that. They were blue and yellow, I think. Changed to white now, but I loved it back in the day when they were blue. I remember going on road trips with my family and, you know, driving through the States and being able to pick out the different license plates and where they were from. And I used to love the California ones because they were blue. My favorite color. Was really neat. But do you remember that? Them being that color? And I wonder why they changed them all to white. Probably cheaper and easier to manufacture, I guess, but it was neat. I would love to get my hands on one of those from back then. I think that'd be a really neat collector's item. One thing that I really loved about this film too that was different from American Werewolf in London was that the werewolves, we saw them in different stages of being a werewolf. They seemed to have more control over that, and you know, they kind of were in control when they were fully changed into a werewolf, like a human. And I found that way scary, like so scary. They weren't just kind of this reckless wild animal, but really could think and change back and that kind of thing in the moment. Made it so much more scary. Can you imagine something like that? You being trapped out in the wilderness with like a flimsy cabin door and you're trying to defend yourself from that. Oh man, that's terrifying. So unfortunately, the end scene, we have Karen getting bit and transforming. She's about to transform into a werewolf. She knows it, but she feels that they have to go on air to warn people that this other society, this underground, society of werewolves exists amongst them, and they need to know. So she thinks that she's going to go on camera and talk about it, and she does, and she transforms. Her eyes change, but then her friend, who's still alive, her husband, is killed as well, and they end up like lighting on fire the cabin and trying to burn everybody, and they shoot a bunch of people with silver bullets because that's the thing that they figured out that actually works. And it does, but they don't get everybody. And she goes back and she transforms on the news station on camera, and then her friend shoots her with a silver bullet to kill her, all on camera. They cut to commercial, a dog food commercial. Then people watch it and they think that it's fake or that this weird thing happened, and all these conspiracies and weird rumors and stuff go on. You see from different households all around, everyone that's been watching. And so, it's kind of like becomes like a myth that it didn't really happen, or did it happen, or like people are talking about it in the bars. Kind of stories are flying around. So I thought that was really neat. I thought that was really cool how they did that too. Really creepy, really scary. And of course they left it open-ended that there could be some, werewolves still kicking around so they could do more films. And they did just that. They went on to do, I believe, 6 more sequels to it. I think progressively they get worse. They're not great, but I want to visit them. I think I want to watch all of them just to see how they are, and I really want to see the 4th one to see if it is much like the book, and if it's better. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Have you guys seen all of the franchise? Do you like this one? Do you like some of the other ones as well? What other tidbits and facts and things do you know about this movie that I missed? Because I am positive I missed a whole whack of stuff. But this video would probably be 3 hours long if I kept going and talking. So we're going to kind of wrap it up now, I think. One last thing I wanted to point out, when Dee Wallace does her final scene where she screams, that's actually her screaming, and it was so well done that they kept it for the scene. They were actually going to do some special effects over it because they just thought it wouldn't be that great, but that was actually her voice. I think that's amazing. Yeah, it makes her really incredible. So good in this. She really is. I really love her so much. Always have, always will. And I realize I left out talking about a lot of the actors. There's more great actors in this movie that I could have talked about too, but like I said, the video would be too long. And a lot of people, because of this film, connected to Joe Dante, and that were, ended up in other movies together as well. That it kind of kept going. So, and I remember that back then, you remember seeing certain people in certain films. Certainly would love to revisit that and kind of do that little tree to kind of see who went where and who ended up with what kind of thing. Because it was a long time ago, man. That was a long time ago. But really fun and interesting anyway. It must have been a really cool community, all the people being friends and working together, and some of them doing effects, some of them trading off and being in other films. And back when they first started, I think that would have been really, really fun. Anyway, I should get now to my review. So for my review, I'm going to give this a hard 5 out of 5. I freaking love this film. A Spirits and Screams cult classic. I think this is, one for the collection for sure. If you don't have it already, it's a little bit more obscure and hard to find. In Canada, anyway, it's hard to find to stream it. And I haven't looked into it, but I'm sure that the physical media is probably a little pricey. One of those collector's type of deals. Anyway, you guys, don't forget to comment your really long comments down in the description box below. The comment section below, sorry. And just let me know what you think of this movie and all the tidbits and things that I'm sure you guys know that came along with this movie. and just stuff that I missed, because I'm sure I did, because I'd really love to learn more about it. I really had a good time watching this again. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. And if you liked it, don't forget to give me a like, because it helps me out a lot, and subscribe to the channel, but only if you want to. You know, if you want to be part of the group, I would love to have you. I love chatting with you guys. It makes me feel good. It makes this whole thing worthwhile, just being able to talk with you guys. Really, really fun, and share, you know, exciting moments and thoughts and feelings about these movies that we love from the past. Like I said, I'm going to try to revisit that era of the 70s for a little while anyway, and show you more stuff, because you guys did like the Kolchak one so much, and I know you like the Changeling video, and yeah, we're going to do that for sure. Any suggestions, let me know as well, and I'll see if I can get to them. So you guys, I just want to say have an incredible rest of your night, and we will see you again on the next one. Bye guys.